Vault Breaker! The PvE mode. It's here. This video is going to tell you everything about it. Everything from how to do it, what's the triple vault strategy, the most efficient way to play, should you be doing solos versus trios, what's the right team comp, can you beat the compiler here. Everything you need to know about this mode, I'm going to talk about right now. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is solos versus trios. You should absolutely be doing trios. Think of it as 3 backpacks instead of 1. I don't want to hate on you solo players, and so this take right here is me doing trios fill. I'm essentially just a solo player, but I'm loading in as trios so that I have multiple backpacks. I'm going to let it play here so you can see how my comms start the game.
Hello, hello. Welcome to Cryo Archive. You guys got mics?
Yo, what's up?
Yo. Alright, it's Cryo 1 key. I'm hoping to hit 3 vaults here. I don't know about you guys.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
Okay.
So as you can see there, you're not always going to get teammates with mics even, but the point is that you load in, if you have a mic, that's the best case scenario. You can call out what you're doing, what you need. Do you need coolant? Should they be getting batteries, whatnot? And then you can also just call out back and forth what your actual strategy is. Are you going to try to hit 3 vaults? Like me telling them ahead of time gets their mind set to where they know exactly what we're going to try to do, and so they're kind of dialed in. This isn't just an average game. It's like, oh, okay, we're going to try to do 3 vaults here. Now, you're not always going to need a mic. I have played this game mode where all 3 of us don't have a mic. Yes, I'm actually typing in the chat in the game, and people do seem to respond to that pretty easily, so maybe I just type grab batteries, I'll get everything else. And you'll kind of see here, I can get the coolant, I can get the credentials, and you can too after you watch this video, so you'll see that. But I will just call things out that I need and essentially tell them to get batteries. You're going to need a lot of batteries if you're doing 3 vaults, and so of course that's important, and it's not hard. They can find scanners, they can find batteries while you do everything else. Of course you're finding batteries too, but like super simple stuff like that, it's just going to work. The other nice thing about this strategy I'm going to show you is that worst case, you just stop. Like maybe you hit 1 vault, and then like you're just like, I don't like this team that I'm with. You could just hit exfil and get out. Or maybe you hit 2 vaults and you're like, I don't think I have enough time left. I'd prefer to just get out. Okay. And then you just load back in and you roll the dice. If you get good teammates, then you can queue back up with them, and then you build that rapport, and then you'll get faster every run. I want to tell you what I think about this mode, but I'm going to save that towards the end because I want to just lay out a lot of the fundamentals here. So I talked about solos versus trios, and of course solos you could do solos, and actually they're adding a solos mode where you'll do more damage to the bots, which is great, and more precision damage, and they will aggro you less and whatnot. So that'll be really nice. I think that will be a nice change, and you can try it solo. But at the end of the day, all of these vaults carry this stuff called vault index or vault data, and you use that to buy stuff in the store. And you can buy gold uniques from the store. You can buy prestige templates. You can buy the goo gun even. There's a lot of stuff you can buy in that store. And so that is like the most important currency. That's all stuff you can bring back to PvP. Now what else? You can buy upgrades to your kit. So you can buy better backpacks to start with, better weapons, better meds and stuff for your kit. So the thing is, you can't bring guns and stuff out of this mode. The only thing that actually matters is this vault data. And so you need to be maximizing the amount of it you can bring back. And what better way than instead of having 1 person with 1 backpack, you have 3 people with 3 backpacks. On top of everybody's just going to be able to get batteries and help you out with whatever you're doing. It's just more people to carry this stuff, and it is shared. The most important thing is it's shared between everybody. So if I pick up some and someone else picks up some, upon exfil, everybody gets that. So you will be able to get insane amounts of tier 1 and tier 2 vault indexes if you do it in trios. Okay, let's move on to the next thing here, which is team comp. It doesn't really matter team comp. So there's essentially 4 total vaults you can do in any run. Okay, so it's going to start off, it's going to either be a 1 or a 2 key. And then when you in that vault, whichever one you get, there will be another key. It'll be either a 3 or a 5 key. And then in that vault, whichever one you get, it will be a 4 or a 6 key. So there's 3 vaults. That's the 3 vault strategy. So you could get like a 1 key and then a 5 key and then a 4 key. 3 like that. And then in whatever that final one is, the 4 or the 6 vault, there can be a DNA access key. Now, this isn't just like a key that you go to Vault 7, put some batteries in, and then you're done. No, this is a key that you literally have to do the whole compiler strat, which means you have to take the DNA access key to a spawn and wait 45 seconds while it initiates. Then it's going to give you a code. You take that to another spawn. And so it's more involved. And so the best case is you run the triple vault strategy that I'm going to tell you about here, and then you do the compiler at the end if you have plenty time. And plenty time, typically that is when you get a Vault 1 off the beginning because it's easier than a 2. You get a Vault 5 because it's easier than a 3. And then you get a Vault 4. Or a 3. It could be a 3 or a 5. But the point is the 4 and the 6 are the last two. And 4 is a lot easier than the 6. So if you're going to do a compiler, you want max time. The other thing you really want is max upgrades. So there's upgrades you can buy. So each of these vaults that you're going to be doing is going to require batteries and something else. Typically, it's just batteries for 1, and then batteries plus this stuff called cryocoolant for 2. And then as you go to the other ones, there's also these credentials and whatnot. Now, there's upgrades you can buy that you come in with batteries. You come in with certain credentials. So the more you play this mode, the more you can kind of switch out those. And it's really nice because instead of having to grab credentials from a boss, you already have them in your inventory when you spawn in. And so you can immediately skip that. And that's the kind of stuff that helps you get to the compiler faster. Now, I will note currently there is a bug where if you buy the Vault 6 one where you don't have to do the codes, and you just completely don't go up there at all, it won't spawn the DNA access key in Vault 6. So just be mindful of that. What you have to do is still get, essentially still go up there. You have to have the 4 clearance level and open the doors, and then it'll spawn in the 6 room when you open it. Anyhow, you don't really need to know about that. So look what I'm doing here. I'm in Vault 1, which just requires batteries to buy or to open. And you can see this tier 1 vault index stuff that I'm picking up. That is what you're going to buy a lot of upgrades with. There's tier 1, which is what you're seeing here. Each one of these rocks is 10 of this tier 1 vault index stuff. Now, once I get to the second and the third vault, you'll see I start getting this tier 2 vault index stuff. Now, that takes up 4 squares, but that tier 2 stuff you can buy a lot better stuff with when you get to the final area. So that's this kind of stuff where you can buy the gold unique weapons and some of the better upgrades and whatnot. So anyway, all that being said, that's solos versus trios. That's generally the breakdown of the vaults and how Vault Breaker works. Next, I want to talk to you about team comp. I mentioned it a little bit before. I'm clearly running Assassin, and if I'm going to be running this like trios fill, I will absolutely be doing Assassin. Why Assassin? Well, because I will go off on my own. I know the map, and you will too once you play this a lot, but I can tell my 2 teammates, hey, you guys just get batteries, and if they're more competent, then maybe I'll tell them to do something else. Maybe go get maybe get the cryo container from preservation and then fill it in biostock or the center of control, those kind of things. But oftentimes with randoms, I just tell them to collect batteries. If they can just collect all the batteries for me, then I can do a few basic things. Now, for me, I have to get tranquility credentials. Most people hear tranquility credentials and they think, oh, you have to go and you have to kill this boss and your whole team's going to go here. And a few minutes are going to go by, you're going to be killing this boss and whatnot. No, I already have the other 2 people on an errand, and I am showing you now why I run Assassin all the time. What I can do is I can pick up this tranquility credentials, and I can hide. I can just hide. I can just sit here and hide. Now, occasionally, something might walk over to you. It might aggro to you. It might not. If it's just a bot and it's early on, I'll shoot him. If it's something else, like not like a gray bot, I mean, even a blue bot I might shoot. But like, if it's the boss and he aggroes to me, I am not going to shoot him. I'm just going to run away. I might even go invis. But that is why I'm an assassin. I'm crouching here. I'm not shooting. Look at this guy. He's staring right at me. He's on to me. but he's like, okay, I see what you're doing, buddy. I see what you're doing, buddy. And I'm going to let you pass. I'm going to let you just chill out. When I start this, I think it's about a minute until you can hack. So as soon as I pick up that tranquility credentials, I look at my time in the top left. I just take note of the time, and I'm just waiting. And then once a minute goes by, you'll see I go invis. You can go over to this hack, and you can simply hack it. Now, if things get froggy here, I have not just my invis, but I also have my smoke, and bots really don't aggro in the smoke, so that can help you. But look, I'm on my own, and I just saved a ton of time. I didn't have to kill that guy at all. My teammates have been collecting the other supplies for the second vault. So whether this is the pump station or whether it's tranquility, you can do this. Pick up the key, hide, and then now don't do this if you don't feel comfortable. You could still do this with all three of you if you wanted to. You could still do it the other way. You could have two of you go invis, whatever you want. But the point of this is that if you do it this way, you can save a lot of time. Your team can be working on other stuff. But honestly, once you get used to this, there's 30 minutes. There's 30 minutes in a round. You can easily do 3 vaults and have time. With the caveat that Vault 6 does take longer. So if you're not familiar with it, then that one's harder to do 3 vaults in a single run. But again, I'm doing this with randoms. This is like my second or third time playing this mode. I've played a lot of cryo, so I'm very familiar with that. But yeah, I just want to show this to you. So obviously I'm hitting every scanner that I see so that the batteries show up. Super important to get the batteries. You're going to need between 4 and 8 batteries for every single vault you hit. So of course, just pick them all up. You also need them if you're going to fill up cryo coolant. And so it's just important to pick them up. Now here I went to steerage because in that room there has a filled cryo coolant. So if you look at what I did, we have a Vault 5 key. I went and got the tranquility credentials. I went and got the filled cryo coolant. I did all of that on my own. And my teammates are just getting batteries. So now I'm going to meet them at the vault. It's essentially like I'm playing solo, right? Because I'm going off on my own. I'm going to meet them at the vault, but they've helped me in 2 ways. One, they've grabbed a few batteries. Even if they don't grab the batteries, honestly, just play it like solo. Grab the batteries yourself. That's not great. I mean, hopefully, even if you type in the chat and do it, they'll grab a few for you. But if they don't, then so be it. Because what else are they bringing? They're bringing backpacks. And who cares if they steal all of your vault index data? Because it's shared at the end. And so you don't got to worry about the loot goblins of the world because vault data is shared. Now, of course, if you're playing trios fill, you can't control what your other 2 teammates are going to be. They're just going to be whatever they're going to be. So you want to be assassin because, again, then you can play the game a little bit like solo. You can do these things on your own. And you don't want to die. So just be it's very disruptive if you die across the map and someone has to go get you. So I would much rather you play it slow, protect your life, maybe even wait for your invis to come back before doing something daring than to die on the other side of the world when you're trying to do something. So keep that in mind. But if you were going to take this all the way and you actually had a full squad, I mean, trios is great, and destroyers are going to be very important for a compiler. So if you're trying to do the triple vault strat, it doesn't really matter what everybody runs. I mean, especially once you buy a few of the upgrades, you'll have enough heals. You can find them around the map. But if you're doing compiler, ideally, I would put 1 assassin so that you can kind of speed run this, and I would put 2 destroyers for high DPS. Because this isn't like regular compiler where you can just get triple gold bullies and make your way up there and do the damage. You are at the mercy of RNG on what you find in these vaults. And so hopefully everyone gets at least a bully or something reasonable to do damage with, but you never know what you're going to find. And so having the destroyer alts to really help with DPS is huge. Now, depending on what my first key is, I will already, if I'm near Prez, I will run over there and get multiple empty cryo coolant bags. Because what you can do is, let's say you start with a 2 key, and I head to Prez, and I grab 3 of those containers, and then I go to a fill station. I put in 1 battery, but I can fill all of them, and then I have them for every subsequent vault that I need them for. So if I have a 2 key, I can use that for that. If I have a 5 key, I can use it for that. If I have a 6 key, I can use it for that. And then that is one thing completely that you don't have to worry about for each vault. You can just knock them all out at the same time. But if you get a 1 key at the beginning, that's a whole cryo-filled coolant that you don't need. And so then you might be able to do something like I did here, where you go to steerage and you grab that free one there. Now just remember that extra one that I grabbed there does require clearance 3. And you do need clearance 3 to exfil. But again, this is not regular cryo. Normally you're worried about getting clearance 3 because there's only a few monitors. But realistically, whoever's not getting the main quest items should just be rotating through spawns or going through control and hitting scans, which will show you more monitors, which will show you more batteries, and just chase the batteries. This mode is really nice because the batteries are easier to come by. They show up like an icon when you get close to them. You can actually ping them on the map and it'll show you if they're like on your level or below you based on where that icon is on your screen. You can even get them from commanders. So they're easier to come by. Plus you can buy upgrades that then have you start with 1 or 2 batteries. So you can imagine if your goal was compiler, if your whole team each has 2 batteries coming in, well, that's essentially a whole vault's worth of batteries that you don't have to worry about. And again, that's just going to speed things up more. Now, I'm trying to be very mindful of what I'm bringing. Honestly, as Assassin, I don't need a ton of heals. Look at my bag now. It's mostly this vault data. I make sure there's 3 of us, that no vault data is left behind in any vault. Someone's got to be picking it up. But you'll see in the 3rd vault what I actually do with my inventory, and it's super important. So right there, I still kept some ammo. I still kept some consumables. I tried to get as much vault data as I could. You'll see when I get to the 3rd vault what I'm doing for inventory optimization. So here I came out of the 5 door, and that thing that we just shot down is what you need for the colonist credentials, and that is for vault 4. So it's pretty convenient. We just hit vault 5, we came out, we shoot this thing, we pick up this vial, we're going to take it to command, we're going to put it in a little doohickey, and if you don't know all of this stuff, which is totally acceptable, look in that top right. It tells you exactly what you need to do. So it's telling me get the DNA vial, take it to upper control to create colonist credentials. So, and it's even pinging it on the map for me. You see it's got it up there. So this mode really is helping you. Of course, there's maps out there that tell you exactly how to do each of these and where it is. And that's awesome. You know, like the more you study, the better you're going to do. But truthfully, just go into a game and just go for it. Worst case, you do 1 vault, you make it out. The next time you do 2 vault. Like, you're just going to build on it. You're going to get more familiar. It's not like these vaults change. So, like, after a few runs, I'm telling you, you're going to have all of this down. You're going to continue to learn the map, and you're going to become a master of this. The only person holding you back is yourself. Now, when you put this in, there are going to be a bunch of bots that spawn. So if you have grenades or something, that can help. But this is one that I like to have everybody present for. I mean, technically I could go invis and I could kind of cheese this a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're now down to the last vault. So if you have enough batteries collected, I do prefer to just have everybody together. I mean, look how much time we have. Plenty time left. We're crushing it. There's really no need to break up. Now, of course, if we were trying to do compiler on this run, then we would probably not all be up there. Maybe one person could do that, and then the rest could get batteries. But like, if you're doing a compiler run, you're actually trying for it mentally. You should be ready for that. Like, you should be going into the run expecting that, because you're just going to need to go at a little faster pace. You're going to want to have several of the initial upgrades and whatnot. So while we're making our way to this vault, and obviously you can see I know my way around the map, but I ping the vault and you could just kind of work your way there. So don't stress yourself out. What upgrades should you buy? Well, it depends what your end game of this mode is. Like, it's only here for 2 weeks. So you are either the person that just loves to buy upgrades because you're going to keep playing this game mode a lot, or you're somebody that's like, hey, I'm just going to play this game mode a few times, and I just want to get the good loot so I can bring it into PvP before it's gone. So I think the big delta between those people is how much you're just going to invest the vault data back in. Obviously, you're going to get some from each run, and then you can spend it on something else. I think the tier 1 vault data is super easy to come by. You can get like 400, 500, 600 per run doing this strategy that I'm showing you here, where you hit 3 vaults and you have 3 people. And so, like, honestly, you're going to get to a point where you have all those upgrades in like 10 runs. 10 runs, you'll have every upgrade bought, and then you'll be able to spend those on whatever you want. That at that point, so I would buy all the upgrades, starting with a backpack. Green backpack to start with costs the tier 1, and then a blue backpack costs the tier 2. I would definitely buy the green backpack. Essentially what that means is you can put more vault data into your backpack. I would also buy the blue one if you're not planning to run too much more of this. Then I wouldn't buy it. But generally speaking, it's a huge investment, because like that's like 8 more of these moon rocks you could put in a backpack that's blue versus green. And that's 8 more that you could put in a green versus no backpack, right? And so the more you're able to do that, the better it's going to be. So I definitely recommend backpack first, then shield, and then meds. Backpack, shield, meds. Those are really going to, honestly, all you really need to do. Everything else is nice to have. I mean, it's really nice to have, this Magnum. People are hating on it, but honestly, Magnum is really good for UESC, especially as you upgrade it more. Of course, there's plenty of weapons in each vault. There's weapons that you get from UESC, so it's not necessary. But it does smooth your rounds over a little bit, just having that gun off the beginning and having that consistency. It's also really ammo efficient, so I know I can hold a single stack of heavy, and then I'm good to go. Now look at my inventory here. My inventory is only this vault data, and that's because that's all that matters. Nothing else I can take out with me. So I feel like I'm very confident I can make it to this exfil that's in the middle of the map without dying. I am assassin, so I'm going to be able to smoke the exfil, and we're going to get out. I don't need heals for anything else. Now, you don't have to completely do this. If you're expecting to kill a few more bots, bring a little ammo. If you're not sure in your abilities, bring a little heals. But the point is, the more you bring out, the better. So I have only that in my inventory. And that's honestly what I'd recommend to you after your first few runs once you feel comfortable. Because look, I just made it to the exfil, no problem. All right. Anyway, upgrades. There's some other tier 2 upgrades that are really nice, and that's the ones that you can, first off, you get the blue backpack, but then you can also start getting like colonist credentials or tranquility credentials, and you will spawn in every game with them. That way you never have to actually go and get those again. So that really speeds it up, and that's how you're going to do the compiler. So if your goal is to beat the compiler, then I would invest in those. If your goal is simply to buy a dervish to use in PvP, then don't worry about it. Just buy the dervish and move on. I like this mode. I'm going to have to put a whole nother video out generally on PvE, but I like it. It's a good start. Let me show you here at the end. This is how everything is shared. You can see the tier 1 and the tier 2 shared. That's how you bring a teammate in. And if you need to know more about Cryo Archive, I have a whole video here to just generally explain Cryo Archive. It's the regular Cryo, but a lot of it is still the same. Anyway, I'll see you there. I appreciate you checking out this video. Peace.
I'm down to run another one if you are.
Yeah, I'm down.